ocean of fear. Angels weep, their wings in flame. Lost to the void, none remain. Fire rains, the battle calls. Demons dance as heaven falls. Choirs wail the damning night. Infernal's wrath, eternal
Into this match. Into this match.
echoes fade, the war is done. A blood-red sky, a blackened sun. Souls consumed, no path to light. Hail victorious, endless flames rise, the sky ablaze. Shadows writhe in hell's dark maze. Swords clash, the echoes scream. Blood-soaked ground, a devil's dream. Fire rains, the battle calls. Demons dance as heaven falls. Choirs wail the damning night. Infernal's wrath, eternal night. Steel bites, the heavens quake. Flesh and bone, the earth will break. Ashes rain, the reapers feast. Darkness spreads, a crimson beast. Thunder cracks, the end draws near. Hope draws in the ocean of fear. Angels weep, their wings in flame. Lost to the void, none remain. Fire rains, the battle calls. Demons dance as heaven falls. Choirs wail the damning night. Infernal's wrath, eternal
Hello. Hello there. Sup, fuckers? Sup, fuckers? How we doing today, everybody? I think we're packed to the brim with people already. All of our fans, all of our friends. What is up, guys? guys, gals, NBs, everybody in between. How are we all doing today? It is not as hot. It is not as hot outside, I'm happy to report. There's been a nice breeze all day long. It's a little humid. Don't get me wrong, it's a little humid, but there's a nice breeze going and it feels absolutely beautiful outside. I was just on here a couple minutes ago. I have not been gone long. I was just doing the One Piece chapter, the most recent One Piece chapter reaction video that I'm going to upload later. I had it set up to where, hang on, my copyright free music goes hard here. That's my favorite part. But I was talking about something. I got distracted by the rock. If I had a nickel, you know. We'll just go back to this. I was just doing the One Piece chapter. I was having an absolute blast doing the reaction to the most recent chapter. I gave a spoiler warning, so hopefully anybody that was there for that one didn't stick didn't stick around to hear all the spoilers and all the fun stuff that we went through. But with the One Piece chapter, as mentioned, it was an extremely fun chapter. A lot of things happened. There was a lot of lore reveals. There was a lot of interesting things. What I thought was fascinating was that they introduced, or rather, they expanded on some of the lore. But there's a group of all women pirates that you meet at one point in the story, and this specific chapter mentioned that because they were all beautiful women, that they were the eye to all of the. I think they called them specifically all of the salty dogs of the sea. Commenting that these salty dogs traded their high bounty posters with each other and sold them for exorbitant amounts, but that specifically, more maliciously, that this group of women pirates, their biggest problems were often just stalkers, pursuance, and having to deal with hidden cameras. And I thought that was a really apt description for a lot of problems that women face in today's society. Of just having to deal with harassment, having to deal with pursuers, especially if you look at like Japan and the problem that they have with like the like private cam, upskirt content on that side of or in that country, then I think falls right in line with the goings of the chapter. But that was a really good chapter. There was more to it than just talking about that. A lot of things revealed, a lot of content covered. But more excitingly, hello everybody, I'm Kevin. I live in a new place. I'm in a new apartment. I have a new space, and I have a new business that I at some point will get figure out if what licenses I need for. But I'm a cheesemonger, and I am here in the Columbus area trying to bring cheese to as many people as I can. And I hope to do that through my leftist values and through trying to help as many people as I possibly can. But I'm very excited that I have finished moving now, because I finished moving and I now live in a now I live in this beautiful apartment that I have. I am here with. What am I trying to do? I have this beautiful apartment all around me. It's me, my partner, our cat, and then Oswald, who's been with me on stream before. But he's back there. I gave him a treat to calm him down for a bit, but he's been pretty good all day today. He was chasing around the kitty a little bit ago. He thinks that they are playing. The kitty is not so convinced that they are playing, but they're having a great time together. He's been really sweet. He's probably going to, after he's done back there, come over here, lay down in his cage and take a nap. That's my assumption. But where did my mouse go? I'm getting used to everything. I'm in a new city, or rather, I'm back in back in an old city. That I haven't lived in a while, but I'm excited to be here, excited to be closer to family, excited to be closer to some friends. and excited to do some work while I'm here. One thing that I was absolutely aghast about was upon getting back, seeing the amount of police that currently litter the streets of this town. They are everywhere right now. I don't know if it's been like this for a while or if it's a new development. I've seen, or I've heard reports and seen sharings of ice being set up on street corners in the area, and ice doing spot checks of people and trying to capture and kidnap people. But I got down here, and the first thing I noticed was that on every single corner there's several police officers. It doesn't matter what day it is, it doesn't matter where you are, what side of town. They're fucking everywhere. It's awesome. I especially loved that when I was walking downtown on like the peaceful morning Saturday market series that they do. That while I was walking downtown, there was a cop out there who, after I walked by and put on my hi, nice to see you smile. I hope you're having a good day that I give out to everybody out in the public. We made eye contact, and he just mean mugged me. He had no reaction. He didn't care. He had no intention of being polite or nice. And I always go back to, I want every cop on every corner dressed as a clown that's easy to spot. And, you feel safe walking up to when you need help. Children feel like they're not intimidated by them because they're walking up to somebody in a dark color uniform that is carrying weapons head to toe, that's outfitted out like a military. We're told to go to police when danger happens, and yet the police are the most intimidating people I've ever seen in my life. You would think that on a Saturday market, you would want to have your nice officers out for all of the families that are going around, all of the kids that might be about. But no, instead it's better to have the cops out that treat people like shit. That's what you want to have. Anyway, I don't really have a specific plan for what I wanted to talk about. I just sort of hopped on here to get started with streaming. I'll have a better laid out plan tomorrow probably, but I did my One Piece chapter, which again, crazy chapter. It was a great chapter. Now I am getting started with all the social media stuff that I want to post. But excited to get a bunch of projects started here in the area, as well as meet new people, go see old people. And excited to start streaming. I'm going to be streaming every day this week at least, and we're going to see how that works out. But I'm probably going to be starting at like 11:30. I'll update my schedule on my channel at some point today. Whenever I stop being lazy, that is. Who knows when that's going to happen. But we currently, I don't really have specifically a plan. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It looks like every day more and more cracks are starting to form in the Trump administration. And I love that. It brings me a lot of joy to see that people are freaking out and to see that panic is ensuing. It also brings me so much sadness to see that no matter what happens, there's still such a large part of the population that refuses to admit that Trump is doing bad things to them. That no matter, how many hits their small business takes, how many hits they take, they don't say, this is bullshit and we need to subpoena and we need to arrest this man. Instead, they say we need to adjust adjust the parameters of the policies just slightly to be able to make sure that the right people are being targeted and it's not affecting, the good Americans, the proud Americans, the white Americans. Like, that's, at least I've heard that, I think, said like 5 times now, of people realizing that the tariffs are directly hurting their businesses and that they are forcing, or they're forced to pay higher amounts for the same product that they were a year ago, or not even a year ago, 6 months ago. I was listening to there was somebody on Twitter that was showing their Yeah, we'll just leave that there. There was somebody on Twitter, a reliable source, but somebody on there that was showing their business, and they had a knife business. They made knives, and they guaranteed to all of their customers that they weren't going to be changing over any pricing because everything was American made. Everything was American made, so there wasn't going to be any tariffs on the product. Apparently, they ignored the 6 months of people explaining to them and yelling to them that that's not how that worked, and that they were going to be losing a lot of money because it affects every part of the supply chain. You end up getting absolutely fucked because you're more poor compared to other. Anyway, he just, I guess, dozed through the 8 months where we all talked about exactly what would happen and how it would happen. And now that it's happening, he says, yeah, we should adjust some policies ever so slightly to make sure that they aren't targeting the people that are on, the people that it shouldn't be targeting, aka again the white people that him and his kin that he's around. So that's lovely, and every time I see that, I'm like I've seen it several times now, and every time I'm just sort of heartbroken. Like, what do you do? What do you do to somebody that's so far cucked to this point that they're just so willing to allow this exploitation of themselves? Like the victimhood is insane, and it's not slowing down either. But cracks are showing more and more often. You've got you have the Epstein, everything happening with Epstein and the Trumps and Trump right now. I don't know if you've heard the news, but Trump and Epstein were girlfriends. They blew each other kisses, and sometimes Bill Clinton would watch from the side of the room. But I think Clintons are being subpoenaed. The Clintons are being subpoenaed over their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, which I don't see how that's not going to end up implicating Donald Trump. They didn't get him. He's not getting subpoenaed to go talk about his involvement, but they are getting the Clintons to go and talk about their involvement. So I'm interested to see what comes out of that. But yeah, Trump and Epstein were kissy buddy girlfriends, and that's actually why Trump's hands are so small. He actually kept them that way, so Jeffrey Epstein would like him more. Jeffrey Epstein doesn't like big hands. So Trump is starting to crack. It doesn't help that he's also like, I imagine at this point, probably just shitting out McShit. He's probably just pooping McShit 5 times a day, just shitting himself as he's like starting to really get riddled with his dementia. He seems to be going down the same sort of mental decline that Joe Biden was, or at least in like a similar sense of like 2022, where it was like becoming more and more visible. But I do know what I want to talk about. Where is... You know who I hate? A dickless liberal. I hate a dickless liberal. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll do CBS New York. We'll get to that in a minute, though. I was talking about something. So yes, I've moved. I'm living in a new place. I like it a lot. It's a really cool space. I've got brick walls. I'm sure you can tell. Ozzy, don't bite that. Don't bite that. No, don't bite it. We still have a lot of unpacking and things to do, but very excited that we are, for the most part, moved in. We're done with dealing with the heat. We're done with dealing with the absolute bullshittery that is Georgia in August. It is very nice to be done with that. The South just gets so hot this time of year. It's unbelievable to deal with. Absolutely unbelievable. Why are you yelling at me? I don't like it when you yell at me. Thank you very much. Anyway, I hope everybody in here is having a good day today. It looks like I've got someone at the moment. I can't imagine who. I wonder if they're working, but I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I am doing great. I've again talked about One Piece so far this morning. I've just done a little bit of streaming, just getting back into the groove of things a little bit. And then tonight, maybe a little bit tomorrow morning, I'm going to do a little bit of editing. I specifically did my One Piece video separately from this one, so now I can just basically just upload that entire stream and not have to do any editing to it really, which will be, I think, a lot easier and save me a lot of time. And then I can, simply switch over to here and then download this stream and do the same thing. So hopefully this will make things quite a bit easier for me on my end while I get things situated. I still have a lot of work I need to do on the Twitch end of things as far as setting up alerts, as far as setting things up. So far I only have my follower alert set up, but that's the only one I can get at the moment until I think reach partner status or. So that's the goal at the moment. But we are very excited to be moved in so I can actually dedicate time towards working on things, towards working on stuff in the community, towards doing cheese stuff. I'll be posting about it on my social media, but next Monday I'm going to be doing my first Cheese Weeb book club. It's going to... What is this? Next week is going to be my first Cheese Weeb book club. It's going to be my... It's going to be my first time actually doing a cheese class here in this setting, which now I have a much larger kitchen for. I have a much larger space for in general, but I also have a chalkboard that came with the place, and so I can draw pictures while I explain things. But so next week I'm going to be doing that on Monday. I'll be doing a cheese class. Probably I'm going to do cheese class first. I'll probably do cheese class first. Monday at noon probably isn't the best time, but we'll do it Monday at noon next week, and we'll figure it out from there. We might switch over to Sundays after that, but I don't want to get too crazy. I might also have a break. That is one of the difficult parts, is that there's going to be a break week every now and then, so it may not be the most consistent class schedule, but we'll work with it as we go. Because I'm not going to be doing the class if there's not a One Piece chapter, because usually there's only 3 a month, so I feel like 3 classes a month is a pretty decent amount. But outside of that, I'll be talking about politics throughout the week. I might fit a game in there, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with Israel. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with the genocide of Palestinians right now in Gaza. They have already reached stage 5 malnourishment, which is absolutely debilitating. Beyond that is beyond life-threatening. Along with that, it has very long, prolonged, long-lasting debilitating effects on the body, on mental capacities. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of bad things happening in Gaza right now, and as 2 million people are on the verge of facing this level of malnourishment, it gets to the point of wondering if anything's going to be done before it actually happens. And at this point, it's hard to see what is going to be done before something like that happens. So I feel like tomorrow we're just going to mostly devote all of our time towards that and talking about that as much as we can, and showing as much coverage to that in the best way we can. Because the ongoing campaign to starve out Gaza, the ongoing campaign to destroy Gaza and kill Palestinians is absolutely disgusting and abhorrent. Recent photos came out of, they finally got some aerial photos of Gaza, and the entire location has been dusted. It's rubble. It's absolute. It's gone. So we'll focus on that a little bit tomorrow, and work on talking about some things there. But for right now, at least, we're going to talk a little bit about my least favorite guy, one of my least favorite guys, Andrew Cuomo. These, I don't know what that is. These dickless, there it is. I'm sorry, I won't do that to you. these dickless liberals constantly conceding to the Republicans. Now we have the Democratic mayor, ex-mayor, mayoral candidate, who I believe now is running as an independent, Andrew Cuomo. Now that he lost the Democratic nominee, he's been talking to Trump about, oh, hey there he goes. Yeah, you want to come say hi? No? Hey, Ozzy, come here. Come here. Hey. Can you come up? Hang on. Can you come up? Yeah? Oh, hi. Hi. Oh, hello. Ozzy, can you look there? Can you say hi? No, you can't say Ozzy. Who's my good boy? Yeah? Oh, you're so heavy. Oh, you're so heavy. Are you getting up? All right, come on. Up, up. Up, up. Are you going to be lazy? Come on. Come on. Coward. Everybody point and laugh. Everybody point and laugh at Ozzy. Yeah. Anyway, there's this dickless little liberal called Andrew Cuomo who loves conceding to corporations and enriching himself by exploiting the most vulnerable and the poorest in the city that he's supposed to serve. Anyway, after he lost the people's mandate, after the people's mandate came through and demanded that Zohran Mamdani be the Democratic nominee for the city of New York City, the presumptive Democratic nominee, Andrew Cuomo, pitched a hissy fit and decided to instead go as an independent into the mix of the mayoral race. And now apparently there's a report that says that Trump was talking to Cuomo specifically about this race. So I want to listen to see what this says because I haven't heard it yet.
Candidates are reacting to a report that President Trump may get involved. Dick Brennan is here in studio with me to tell us the details. Dick?
Well, Christine, the president is said to want to know how to stop Zohran Mamdani and who would be the best candidate to do it. Tonight, word that Trump might get in the middle of things has the candidates, including Mamdani, firing back.
Whatever Donald Trump seeks to do to influence the outcome of
He's so cute.
this election, I have more faith in New Yorkers themselves, who have shown, whether it be in the previous presidential election or whether it be through this primary race, that they do not want to support our current president's vision.
Tonight, some of the mayoral candidates were
I recently heard somebody referring to Zohran as New York's Labubu. I'm just going to throw that out there.
reacting to the idea that Donald Trump wants to get involved in the race in New York City.
There's no doubt he talks often with Eric Adams. He talks often with Cuomo, who he's known. Their families have known one another. He doesn't talk to me. So I've advised the president publicly, be like Switzerland. Stay out of this race.
The New York Times.
Be like Bella Swan. Don't be like Switzerland. Be like Bella Swan. That's a don't be like Switzerland. Be like Bella.
Reports Trump is
Where the hell have you been, Loca? Where the hell have you been, Loca?
mulling whether to get behind a candidate to stop self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani and wants to figure out who has the best chance to beat him, be it Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo. It also says Trump has had a phone conversation with Cuomo, something the Cuomo camp denies. In a statement, spokesman Rich Azzopardi saying, the governor and the president have not spoken in some time. As far as I know, they have not discussed the race. Tonight in the Oval Office, President Trump was asked about it.
Did you have a phone call with Andrew Cuomo? Did you speak to Andrew Cuomo?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Regardless, Mamdani was making political hay, accusing Cuomo of a shady backroom deal.
This is a great opportunity for Mamdani to use the president as a boogeyman or an albatross to put around the neck of former Governor Cuomo.
Political analyst J.C. Polanco says it might be best if Trump stays in the background and tries to be a rainmaker.
There are many ways that President Trump could be helpful. The worst way would be an endorsement. It's the kiss of death of New York City.
In Harlem, Mayor Adams did not take questions on the race, and his office did not respond to a request for comment. Now, Polanco says if Trump chooses to stay on the sidelines, he could encourage others to donate or provide support to any opponent of Mamdani, or the president may choose to do nothing at all.
I've been muted. There's this idea that I hope everyone heard my Switzerland joke. There's this idea that Mamdani is popular because he is consistent on his policies, or rather, he's consistent on the policies that he has, and that it's not necessarily that he's popular because he holds the policies that he holds. Solely that it is that he is consistent, and this is the popular talking point that I've been hearing from establishment and corporate Democrats like Pete Buttigieg. Is that again? It's not a matter of the fact that he is is not a matter of the fact that he has good policies that make him popular and that resound with the people. It's not a matter of the people caring about the fact that he's running on populist policies. It's a matter of instead a matter of the people are just excited about somebody being consistently on message. And this deferment away from populist policies, again, just always, it makes me feel ill hearing Pete Buttigieg say things like that, because it just feels like he's only coming out here to serve the corporations. It seems to me like the people care about populist policies. When Trump tells them that they're going to be getting a no tax on tips, they hear that in their mind as a populist policy, not understanding exactly how that works, or understanding the difficulties that are going to come with that system in terms of implementation, in terms of the specific tax standards that you're going to have to set into place around it, or rather that they want to set into place around it so that it doesn't apply to everybody. The right feigns populist policies so that way they can get the votes, because they know that works and resounds with the people, because the people want populist policies. The people don't want dickless liberals who are willing to work with Donald Trump in order to win the mayoral race in New York City. Because let's say you win the mayoral race of New York City, great, now you're under the thumb of Donald Trump. That works out great. We love seeing Eric Adams allow ICE to come into the city. Oh my God. Anyway, Zohran Mamdani is the only hope that we have as far as New York, and needs to be protected at all costs. We can't do anything without him. That's what's going on there. What's going on with PBD? I've never actually been on this channel. I've only watched them through Majority Report.
You ask for 5 days a week.
Oh, do they not have anything? Do they just have nothing? Yeah, it looks like they don't have anything there. That's fine. I'm tired. I didn't sleep too well last night. We love my search history. Trixie Mattel right up top. Oh. So Trump is sending in the, what is it? National Guard. So yes, what do we have? Donald Trump orders activate National Guard, and Trump seizing DC police. Violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. We're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it, Trump said at a wide-ranging morning press conference. Yeah, that's another thing that I want to talk about was the homeless. So there was an executive order that came out. Order homeless. There's a executive order that came out ending crime and disorder on America's streets on July 24th. I was not streaming around when this happened, but I saw it and I threw up in my mouth. This is the or another step in the part of the plan to turn the homeless population into slave labor. I remember having conversations about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I started hearing anti-homeless rhetoric coming from the Biden campaign, or rather the Biden office. I started having conversations with people and talking about the idea that the homeless were going to be dehumanized to the point that they were going to be, it was going to be okay to round them up off the streets and to take them to concentration camps and or arrest them and to then use them on as prison labor. We have here an executive order that, through a bunch of really fun and fancy legal jargon, says that they are going to take anybody that is homeless and take them to a facility in which they will be unhomelessness-sized. Yep. The penalty for not going to this facility that that they really want you to go to is arrest. You're gonna get arrested if you don't go to their facility in which they concentrate a certain population of people as they build concentration camps around the entire country. So yes, the homeless population is actively being the homeless population is actively being turned into slave labor right before our eyes. Um, the homeless have always been used as a threat in the U.S. As a means of oppression. You know, you better play by the rules. You better make sure that you work and get a job. Otherwise, this is what happens to you. You know, we want them on the street so that way it's a way for people to see that they are there. We want them to be visible so that people again have that threat of what could happen to them. And now we're finally getting to a point where we need more labor. We're deporting most of the the labor that goes towards farm work, goes towards generally seen as low popular jobs, or jobs of low popularity, I should say. We're seeing those people that usually work those jobs get deported. They're being kicked out of the country right now, and their lives are being absolutely destroyed and absolutely ruined for no other reason than the soothing of the what's the word? The what is that word called? The little dangly thing at the back of your throat. There's a whole song about it. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, but it is absolutely ridiculous that the people of our country are okay with those who are at their lowest and weakest are willing to let them be rounded up because they're not good to look at, because they make them uncomfortable. Like the homeless population, the houseless population, whichever you want to call them. There's a plethora of reasons as to why people end up being homeless, houseless. Everything from mental illness, of course, but also you just simply have capitalism. The number one cause of homelessness is a loss of employment, not a lack of employment, a loss of employment. People that lose their jobs for one reason or another and are then unable to find other sufficient work. These people are cut from the workplace once they are deemed to be excess fat that can be trimmed off. Once they are deemed to be excess fat, then they can at that point be removed entirely. And who cares about them once they get removed? If they don't find another job, then that's their fault. They should have been a more skilled laborer. They should have been a more skilled worker that could have fed the machine in a way that was a little bit more consistent. They're not paying taxes, and aside from not paying taxes, they're also not participating in the economy enough. You constantly have to have people participating in the economy. That's why right now you're starting to see people on the right, conservatives, and specifically mainstream media, starting to come out a lot more often with millennials are killing this industry. That report is coming out a lot more again. You're starting to hear that it's more patriotic to spend money and to go to businesses, and it's more patriotic to go to places and spend money at those places. And of course, you want people spending money. I believe in Keynesian economics, and everything that I've learned and taught myself about money is that you generally want as many people exchanging as much money exchanging as many hands as possible. At every opportunity it has to exchange hands is another opportunity in which somebody enriches himself, and which is another opportunity for that thing to be taxed and for revenue to be generated to put towards social programs and uplifting all of those in your community. General good idea stuff, or I think it's a good idea. Apparently others disagree with me. What was I talking about? I was talking about money. I was talking about how homelessness is being used as a threat. That way people are kept in line and kept as a person. I think I lost my track on the train of those being deported. But the people who work the lowest popularity sort of jobs are being deported at a rate. Yes, that's where I was going. Are being deported at a rate that's absolutely insane for nothing other than the stroking of a shaft of a Nazi, of a bald little cum goblin. Like you have Stephen Miller at the White House. Gooning to the fact that he's got concentration camps being built because he got bullied by a couple of Hispanic teenagers when he was 12, and I think still bald. I think that's a part of the problem, was that, if memory serves, he's been bald his entire life, and he became a Nazi around the age of like 12 or 13. Once he realized that was the life that he had to live, was one where he had no hair and could never actually have hair. Anyway. These people's lives are being ruined for no other purpose than, again, stroking Stephen Miller and making Trump, I don't even think, happy. I don't think he really cares about. I don't think he really cares about this for any other reason than it's enriching himself. Like, I think if you were to say to him, you could get equally enriched simply by making sure that these people are here and taken care of, I think he would just do that instead. But like, that doesn't come with the same level of like unadulterated worship that the narcissistic side of him needs. The problem is with fascism is that it's inevitably going to be its own undoing. Its own insecurities and its own sexual frustration comes back to eat itself, and it falls apart at its own seams. I hope that the cracks that we're seeing is that happening right now. Something tells me that I think 40% of the population that still somewhat support Trump are going to keep on getting in the way of that. I almost throw up every time I see a MAGA hat these days. I was at the grocery store and I saw somebody 2 people ahead of me, and I look at my partner and I go, bleh. It's just so upsetting to see. And what's even worse now is seeing people be nice to them in public. I understand as a customer service employee, you have a job that is customer service facing. However, I've had plenty of customer service jobs in my days, and I've always managed to let people know that I do not like them when I want to. I've always been able to be perfectly pleasant to somebody, but still manage to be rude to somebody. It might be a skill that not everybody has. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I should put it on my resume. But I feel like most people who have worked in customer service realize that they can, say the words that won't get them in trouble with management, but they can, give that quick little eye glance, or that quick little like frown that gets the point across to the person that they're interacting with, to the boomer that they're being spit on by. It's crazy that this focus on crime is happening as like consistently violent crime as well as crime in general is down across most districts, from my understanding. I think there's few exceptions from that, but I mean there was a bit of a bump from the COVID era, but I mean a lot of crime is still down. Vance is very smart, but not a very principled person. Shut up, Pete Buttigieg. I don't think you're very principled. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? We have Ozzy. We have Ozzy here with us. Yeah. Do you feel pretty good, bud? I'm glad to hear it. Oh, yeah? Good job. There was it's back to school day today. It's back to school day today, and I have some people that went back to college, and their first day on campus, there was a gun. There was a gun their first day on campus. There wasn't, from my understanding, any kind of shooting, but there was police were called after somebody, I believe, from again, my understanding, flashed a gun. But it's always lovely to see, that, it's not just a problem outside. It's not just a problem out in the world. It's right here at home, It's right here in your own backyard. Absolutely terrifying, though, the increase of gun violence on a weekly basis. Ozzy's upset about it, too. He's very upset, in fact. There's a summit happening with Putin. I don't know enough about that to talk about it, though. Newt Gingrich coming out to talk about Joe Biden. Oh my God. Trey Gowdy. Look at this hunger.
Good evening and thank you.
No, I'm Pinhead. Who you calling Pinhead? True. I got a text. Anyway, I only clicked on this. I don't really have anything to say about the Texas Democrats. I only clicked on this because we have not only Pinhead Larry, but this is also the most Hunger Games Fox News host I think I've ever seen. The little, what is this mullet in the back? Can you see that? I don't know if you can really see that too well on screen. Look at look at his little tick 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 tick. I want to pull on it. Maybe I can't see the back. Let's do something fun. Let's do something a little fun. All right, so here's his head. We're going to guess what the back of his head, the hairstyle is. Brush, yeah, that's fine. All right, so we have here. Here's his head. Here's his head. Hello, welcome in. We're making fun of a Fox News correspondent, Trey Gowdy. No, who call him Pinhead? Hello from the land of pain. Hello, welcome. We love. We're making fun of Trey Gowdy, Pinhead Larry. You found him. This very much fulfills my theory of if you are part of the conservative party and platform, you're born by hate, or rather your beauty is molded by hate. You live forever. You live forever, but you're really ugly the entire time. Hassan has the Marjorie Titan Green meme going on, but right now, for everybody who just joined in, we are drawing what we think the back of this guy's hair looks like. Considering I just realized my screen is so huge. Considering, yo, what's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Kevin. Welcome in. I'm a cheesemonger. I do cheese professionally, and I just started streaming because Nazis are everywhere. But right now we're drawing the back of this guy's head. We're guessing what it looks like because I think these are pigtails. So he's got his little pigtails down here, right? Oh wait, no, I want my brush. He's got his little pigtails down here, right? Hello, welcome in. Yo, what's up? There's his little pigtails down here. Or there's one. Let me do the other one. There's his little pigtails. I want to pull on him. I need to get better at paint. I've watched too many YouTube shorts, and I'm trying to be better at this than I am, is the problem. All right, so we have his hair coming down. I imagine it comes down into like a nice little bun. A nice little bun like that. It's a skullet. It's a skullet. I imagine it comes down like that, and then I think we have like kind of like a going down sort of worm effect, almost like it's ribbed for her pleasure. And then we have the split of the two into the pigtails. Like, to me, this seems like the most likely of the options for the hair, right? Ribbed for his no, I think that's a her. I think that's a she her. I'm not good at guessing people's pronouns, but and then maybe they got some hair gel lathered up in there this morning. They forgot to really rub in, but I think this is a pretty good depiction of the back, like, again, the very Hunger Games-esque person. I didn't actually have anything that I wanted to talk about with this video for. I just saw his face and thought it was a good person to make fun of. But yes, if anybody wants to know canonically, this is the back of his head. Here's his ears. Those are his ears. Here's the back of his head. That's what the back of his head looks like. We can actually go back to talking about something important now. That was a fun little game, though. Ribbed for his pleasure. 50 million bounty. Oh my god, the bounties. These fucking ICE agents are getting bounty payouts.
Joining us now for tonight's big close-up is Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Director
These
Lyons,
fucking
let's start with
Nazis
what happened in Rhode Island. So the Portsmouth Police
are
Department
getting
released a statement
payouts
saying this. While ICE was positioned outside and not involved in the in-station process, their presence and arrest were coordinated in advance with our department and
Gross.
HSI. Director Lyons, your response to that?
Bum. The drums. I can hear the drums.
Thanks, Lisa. And I think the big issue with this is the fact that you saw in that video that they released, well, it took almost 5 agents to make that arrest, when we could have just went inside the facility and took that, child sex offender into custody. They didn't cooperate with the detainer. And that's just one example of, if ICE agents weren't available out front to take that individual into custody, you would have had another child sex offender go back into the community in Rhode Island. And that is what we're up against every day in these sanctuary jurisdictions. These are
The fear mongering is just crazy. It is just this, continued idea of every single person that comes into the country, every single person that immigrates in, every single person that is undocumented is a rapist, is a criminal, is somebody that needs to be put down or excluded or separated from the pack. Like, you'll have one-off examples. How would they be a registered sex offender if they're undocumented? I think you can still be on the list. I could be wrong about that. I think you still can be on the list even if you're undocumented. Because just because you're undocumented doesn't mean you don't have identification. But the idea that every single Hispanic is a criminal, like even if you have a one-off in which, sure, these agents come and they arrest one sex offender, that doesn't justify that the police department should be working with these, again, Gestapo Nazis, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they do, because once you start working with them, it's very hard to go back. You know, once they have access into your facilities, once they have access into your databases, once they have eyes and ears all over your establishments, which, I mean, the ICE to police funnel is already, the Venn diagram is already a circle. You know, from my understanding, every ICE, every Gestapo guy they've got out there is just a roided up paintball gun activist that wasn't able to make it into basic and wasn't able to get past like the psychiatry check needed for the police. But like, you have so many sociopaths that are going out there that are attacking these people, that don't have any problem with provoking others, that don't have any problem with showing off firearms to others, that don't have any problem showing like, there was a video of an ICE agent, I think a month and a half ago, that somebody was following them in their car because they were recording where the ICE agents were going so that they could report it back to the community. And one of the ICE agents jumps out of the car and he flashes a gun at them. You know, just a citizen, not doing anything harmful. But these lunatics don't have any training. They don't have any requirements for you know, psychological standards. They don't have any requirements as far as the mandated training hours needed to carry certain weaponry that they're carrying. And yet they're being put out. Not only are they being put out onto the streets of our country with basically do whatever they want, they're also being incentivized with cash bonuses, depending, to catch as many undocumented as they can. Like there was a footage of somebody whose phone, after it had been put down, you heard the officers talk about another 50 grand. You have signing bonuses going on for these fuckers. It's you know, it's the same thing with like the same way you would treat like your military police extra well, or your Royal Guard extra well, because like they're the ones that you want to keep in the upper echelon of you know, of the peasantry, to keep down the other peasants. You know, you don't want them canoodling with you because they're still dirty. Like you know, Trump doesn't really want to hang out with any of these ICE fucks that are mowing people down our streets, because he would think of them as idiots and disgusting. But they're so happy to go out there and do their bidding because they're getting their bag. They don't care about the morals of it. But as time goes on, you're going to see more and more ICE agents that are going to come out, and they're going to say like, "Oh, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe what I was ordered to do. I can't believe what we've been forced to do." But at the end of the day, the same thing happened in Nazi Germany. You had officers in the Nazi Party that were sick about the fact that they were killing as many people as they were, that they were genociding all these groups of people. That's why you have the gas chambers. It was a level of separation between you know, it's no longer a matter of you pulling the trigger and your bullet going through the body of the person you're genociding. Now it's a matter of you press a button and then a room just fills up. You didn't put people in the room. It's just a layer of separation. It's the same thing with like firing squad. A firing squad, there's always one person there's only one loaded gun. The rest of them are all blanks. But that way, the people that are doing the firing squad don't have any idea who's actually going through the process of killing the person. That's why you have executioner masks, is so that there's a layer of separation. You're no longer, you know, Joe Schmo who works down at the hardware store and on Saturdays is the executioner. You are now the executioner. You are a different persona under that mask, and you are not held to the same standards that you would be in the same realm as others.
Aren't the individuals you want in your neighborhood or at the playground? Here's someone that was soliciting a minor for sex with a very bad criminal history, and yet they were going to let him out the door if the ICE agents weren't there.
Director Lyons, it's Alicia Cunha. Again, thank you so much for being here. A federal judge has issued a 14-day pause on further construction at Florida's Alligator.
I guess there's no other information regarding the sexual solicitation. I guess they're just going to say that happened and not offer any context or anything around it, or explain what happened, or say if it was like a false arrest perchance. I didn't hear conviction. I just heard arrest. I didn't hear them say anything about a conviction. Considering black people are the number one most arrested population, yet they are not the number one most convicted population. Might tell you something about arrest versus conviction rates, and how important that distinction is. But anyway, I guess we'll just slide on to the next talking point and conversation.
This comes just days after the White House announced the opening of a new migrant detention center in Indiana called the Speedway Slammer.
I'm gonna
It's
throw
located
up.
about 75 miles
I'm gonna
north
be
of
sick.
Indianapolis.
I'm gonna be
And
sick.
will contain 1,000
I'm gonna be
beds.
sick to my
Here's
stomach.
what Indiana Governor Mike Braun had to say about the new facility.
We're trying to do nothing more than cooperate with the federal authorities to make sure that folks that came into the country illegally and then broke the law once they were here, that's going to be way up there in favorability to do something about it. I'm glad the Trump administration is doing it. Here in Indiana,
That was a lot of words to say that you're a cuck. I heard him say something about Trump's favor, and I heard him say something about being a cuck, and then aside from that, it was just drowned out as he was just deep throating. I couldn't hear anything, but aside from his just glok glok, it was all consuming.
proud to help.
We're proud to
Director,
help.
What more can you
What a
tell
proud
us
boy.
about this
What a
facility
proud
and
boy.
also the
He's
other
so
states
proud.
that you're working with?
Why are they all named like water slides? Yeah, it's I think there's probably some kind of honestly, there's probably some kind of a reason, specific reason for that, making it sound purposefully cartoonish, making it sound purposefully silly, in effort to make it sound like it's not as serious as it is. Like one of the things that's scarier about Guantanamo Bay is that it sounds foreign. It does. I don't like Guantanamo. Doesn't sound like too many U.S. cities that I think of. But Alligator Alcatraz embarks the alliteration there adds a little bit of a whimsiness. Speedway Slammer, the idea of calling also like this might also just play into Trump being a gay boy and Trump being I want to know who came up with the name of a Speedway Slammer, because that sounds like Trump going back to his Broadway roots. That sounds like him being really excited about we're going to call it the Speedway Slammer. It's going to be a slammer, everybody. The biggest hit on Broadway. Like, I think this is his gay coming out. It's I need to know who came up with the name Speedway Slammer. But again, the alliteration there, the calling it a slammer instead of a concentration camp, calling it putting it next to the Speedway as giving it a little bit of an amusement park patina, amusement park appeal to it. Like it's a part of the same, like, let's make this sound not as intimidating, so that way Americans aren't as freaked out when they hear that their neighbor who works down at the grocery store is now being sent. They're not being sent to a concentration camp. No, they're going on a trip to the Speedway Slammer. They got to go to Speedway Slammer for the weekend. It sounds a lot more silly than invoking names that have like more connotation to them, like Alcatraz, for example. Like Alligator Alcatraz has some alliteration to it, but Alcatraz has a little bit more of a loaded history to it. I don't hear them referring to any of their concentration camps with like original concentration camp names. I think that would be pretty apt and fitting. If like they wanted to call Alligator Alcatraz, Auschwitz Alcatraz, that would probably be more apt. But they're not going that direction. Instead, they're leaning in more at the we're going to call it cartoonish names, so that way hopefully the white Americans don't get too pissed off when they realize that the server that they see every Sunday has been deported, and is now being as I think they joked at one point about there were lawmakers that were joking about feeding them to the alligators. It's just everything about it is sick.
Thing under the leadership of Secretary Noem. She was a governor of a great state, so she knows what it takes to work with the federal government. So we're going to partner with all of our state partners that want to, work with us, especially like this facility. This facility in Indiana will have 1,000 beds in one of their penitentiaries that we can put the worst to the worst. And just like with Governor DeSantis down in Florida, we have activist judges that want to try to stop our construction, but the operation's still going to go on. We need these state partners, especially those who are involved in our 287G program that actually have deputized law enforcement officers that assist the ICE mission. It's really crucial to ensuring that we make America safe again by working with our state and local partners. And what these governors are doing are really helping us right now.
We have deputized again. Okay, great. We've got deputized ICE agents. I'm so glad to hear that again. The local paintball activist enthusiast is now able to get deputized, able to be given live weaponry and be put out onto the streets in a highly emotional, highly toxic, and highly volatile environment, and told, go crazy. The more you round up, the more money you get. Here's a cash bonus incentive to get as many as you can. Behave responsibly out there. What are you talking about? This is madness. This is kangaroo court. This is stupid.
Director Alliance Tom Shalhoub, ICE's new recruitment push includes ending age requirements for new agents, recruiting current law enforcement officers, and increasing incentives for new hires like student loan forgiveness. But the left is mocking these efforts.
You could be 18, you could be 75.
I'm sorry, I missed that. ICE's new recruitment push. So it's really cool. It's really, really cool that... Thanks. Have a great time. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you have a lovely one. Be safe. ICE's new recruitment push. It's crazy to me that, things like tuition, things like healthcare, things like the things that we deserve and the things that we have a right to aren't given as rights. Instead, they're held as hostages, forcing us to work against our wishes oftentimes, forcing us to work in exploitative settings oftentimes. We're not able to have the nice things in our day-to-day life because we need an incentive program to be able to maintain a military and to be able to maintain a police force. The police force and the military can have these things. And I think right's response to hearing a leftist talk about this is something like, "Oh, well, you think they shouldn't have those things?" No, we should all have those things. We can afford it. We simply choose not to use it, and we simply choose not to invest in these things. And so instead, what are we left with? We are left with a military industrial complex that forces people forces people that are in poverty into giving their bodies away to the government for human experimentation, to be used as tools of war, to exploit as much as they want in whatever context they want. And you're given a signing bonus and a pretty penny, and you're given a new recruitment push. We could be getting rid of we could be bringing in some tuition relief for you, give you some real good incentives as for why you should join this enforcement squad. But we can't have that for anybody else. If we have these incentives for just if we have these things for just anybody as an inherent right, then we don't have the motivational push to be able to bring in those who are poverty stricken into the military as an escape from that area. We won't have these methods of pressure to enforce on those with lesser material conditions. We won't have means to exploit them if we give them these things. So instead, we need to de-educate them. We need to make them very angry, make them very xenophobic, and then we can just give them money and put a weapon in their hand, and they'll serve us. And they'll be our soldiers for hire. And that's where we're at now. We see the beginnings of this militarized force coming together. The most loyal and the most true, the peacekeepers. We see that group coming together to start to enforce and start to instruct. And I mean, like, right now is the training. They're deputizing these people. Right now is their training. They've started the training process. However, nothing about their training is de-escalation. Everything about their training is escalation, because that's the only premise that they have, is to escalate, is to round people up and to get rid of them. They don't care about training for de-escalation. They don't care about making sure they have certain target practice requirements and make sure that they have enough trigger discipline to do these things, because they don't need trigger discipline. Who cares if they end up shooting people? Who cares if 8 months from now we have shootings en masse from these deputized little gooners that have been rubbing their dicks at the same speed the 2 brain cells in their head managed to. Like, the lack of thought behind this is always terrifying to me when I see it in practice. But, like, maybe I've been wrong. Maybe all of the left have been wrong. Maybe guns don't kill people. Maybe it's not the gun's fault. Maybe we should have more guns in every classroom, in every person's pocket, in every single person's in every single person's glove compartment box, XYZ. Because so far that's worked out so very well. I love this framing of, you think the left would be happy about the fact that we're offering these good incentives, like, college tuition forgiveness. This weaponization of the left, and again, just trying to make the left seem as if the left is hysterical and unwilling to yield or unwilling to compromise, or want ridiculous things. As if the left isn't just asking for human dignity across the board. But that doesn't serve at the interest of capitalism. What does serve at the interest of capitalism is making sure that all of your ICE agents that you deputized off the streets get a $50,000 signing bonus, depending on how many undocumented they bring in. That's what's important. That's what we need to maintain.
You could be 18, you could be 75, you don't need a college degree, they'll take you, you can hang out with your absolute boys, and you could be 75, you don't need a
What did they say?
You could be 18, you could be 75, you don't need a college degree, they'll take you, you can hang out.
I thought you said you could be less than 18, you could be younger than 18. So that'd be crazy.
With your absolute boys, and defend your culture.
It sort of made the
joke. Oh, gross. What was that?
Absolute boys. 18, you could be 75, you don't need a college degree, they'll take you, you can hang out with your absolute boys.
You can hang out with your absolute boys.
And defend your culture.
And defend your culture. Oh my God, what in the Nazi rhetoric talking points is this?
It sort of made the joke before.
You can hang out with your absolute boys and defend your culture.
It sort of made the joke before.
Oh my God.
Before, if you want to dress up like you're taking Fallujah to raid a Home Depot parking lot, ICE is for you.
But their insults aren't stopping Superman.
ICE is for you. Home Depot parking lot, or if you want
with your absolute boys and defend your culture.
It sort of made the joke before, if you want to dress up like you're taking Fallujah to raid a Home Depot parking lot, ICE is for you.
But their insults aren't stopping Superman from joining ICE. Actor Dean Cain, who has played the Man of Steel, said he's signing up to be an agent. So we welcome Dean Cain, and I think that's great, and it's great PR for ICE. But, Director, how's recruitment going among, non-superheroes?
Well, Tommy, that was great to have Dean come out and do that video for us, and I'll be swearing him in as an honorary officer.
How gross.
What
the fuck is that?
But to have that exposure, to actually have people understand and actually look to what ICE is offering, I think that's huge. So for someone like Dean Cain to come out and say that and to try to help us in our recruiting effort, it's huge. And what really frustrates me is the fact that a lot of what the clips that you played puts ICE in a bad light. What we're doing is we're actually recruiting former veterans. We're recruiting current law enforcement officers that want to come to the federal government, ones that have specialized skill. Those are the folks where we're looking at. And we're going to bring these other law enforcement agencies on with us. And the recruitment efforts, I think, are great. Under the last administration, our numbers were, almost eviscerated. We were down so many deportation officers and special agents that we almost have to start from scratch now. In order to meet the president's priorities, we need these extra officers. And having these incentives is really going to help us meet that goal.
Director Lyons, David Webb. The left is getting more outrageous in their efforts to smear the ICE agents and the president. Here, for example, is what failed MSNBC host Joy Reid said earlier this week.
I believe what he is saying is that the brown people who are being deported and detained by ICE, by his masked agents, are natural-born field workers. Something about them makes them natural-born field slaves. He intends to bring the deportees right on back here soon, somehow, to get them to want to come back, because they make the perfect nearly slave labor.
Let's pivot to reality, Director Lyons, and something for the people of America that need to understand.
I mean, I don't know that they're necessarily going to work super hard to bring anybody back specifically to work as slave labor. I think that's just going to be a more harsh punishment, or that's just going to be the new transition for every prison facility and every concentration camp that we have built. Is that we are now every that's why we're going to be rounding up the homeless off the streets and putting them into concentration camps so that they can be the new workforce to replace those that we've deported. Like I don't think that they see them as a need to. I mean, maybe I missed the statement that Joy Reid was talking about, where I guess Trump said he wants to bring them back. I'll look at that later because I'm about to get off pretty soon. But no, the idea of them bringing people back, they don't care about these people, and there's no reason they would care to bring them back, especially when we already have a huge slave labor force in the prison system that's about to get a lot bigger as we expand our concentration camps and detention centers that we already have. Now, detention centers that we people that haven't been deported yet, detention centers are absolutely going to be used as slave labor. The concentration camps that they're going to fill up with the homeless population, those are absolutely going to be used as slave labor. But I don't know about bringing people back.
The priors that many of these criminal illegal aliens have, like the gentleman you talked about, and I probably shouldn't use gentleman, but the Guatemalan in Rhode Island. But talk about the priors, the number of prior arrests.
Yeah, and I don't know where Joy Reid got that from or where she even came up with that logic, because that's the rhetoric that puts my men and women in harm's way, is when we're painted in those type of bad lights. And you think about all those, prior acts of all these criminal aliens, David, like you.
He's so sad. Oh, his boys and girls are being put into harm's way. It's like Tom Homan when he said that AOC was putting people into harm's way by like making sure that people were educated and didn't have to be rounded up or just answer the door if there wasn't a signed warrant. In the same way that they said AOC was doing this, it's almost like it's the same line over and over and over again, and it's the same talking points, and nothing ever changes, and it's just a matter of the people in our country getting dumber and dumber, and the cult just expanding. But I don't. Who gives a shit about putting them in danger? I thought they were law enforcement officers. Their job is danger. That's what they signed up for. That's why they get the tuition bonus, and normal people don't. Who gives a shit?
Said we have individuals that have been deported for fentanyl distribution, yet they come back and they commit more crimes. We had the illegal alien in New Jersey that killed that mom and 11-year-old daughter, who had been arrested for DUI 2 times the same month when he caused this
propaganda.
accident. That is what ICE is actually doing. So comments like Ms. Reed had, that's just totally wrong. ICE is going to arrest you and find you. What the president is offering is, if you go back to your country, go back on your own. Go back, get the stipend, and then have the opportunity to come back and have the American
yeah, that's
dream
what he's talking
and come
about.
in the right way. Because if ICE
Yeah,
has to
fuck
go out in
that.
the community and find you, you're not coming back in the country again.
I think.
Yeah, self-select. You should self-select. You know, if you so here's what the that's right. So here's what the Trump administration is offering. You need to self-identify yourself as an illegal immigrant. In their words, not mine. You need to self-identify yourself as an undocumented, at which point you will be deported out from your country. But that, if you do it the right way, you will have the opportunity to return. You'll get to come back at some point, maybe, but maybe as a criminal, maybe not, but you'll get to come back. You know, they just did this thing to all of the self-selected trans service members, where they told all of these trans service members that if you self-identify and you go ahead and let us know that you need to leave because you are trans, then we'll let you keep your retirement. They just went back on that. They just changed it so that none of those people are going to get to keep their retirements, because, you know, we have to fuck over trans people every opportunity we get. So why the fuck should we believe anything that they have to say about, oh, you'll have a right to return once we deport you? If you deport these people, you're never going to let them back into the country. You don't want them back in the country. Stephen Miller's entire plan is to make the entire country white. Why would he allow anybody back in? That makes no sense.
ICE Director Todd Lyons, I think trying to figure out what Joy Reid is thinking is an impossible task, but we appreciate you coming on tonight and trying to make sense of all of this.
All right.
Thank you for joining
All
us.
of y'all can
sir.
go fuck off. Absolute lunacy.
Joining us now
Where
for tonight's
is
big
Fox
close-up
News
is
back?
Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. Director Lyons, let's start with what happened in Rhode Island.
Are you
So
playing?
the Portsmouth Police Department released a statement today saying this. While ICE was positioned outside
and the
That was exciting. I don't know why I kept playing like that. Well, that was upsetting. Annoying, even. Dana Perino, you make me sick. Oh yeah, we're talking about sending drone strikes into Mexico. So, like, Mexico does have a problem with the cartels, and the cartels do have more power than they should, and you know, are able to control large expanses of land and have a network of systems in order and a crime enterprise in order to fund work. But you got Trump saying we're gonna send in missiles.
Trump reportedly authorizing military action against drug cartels. So back in January, Trump designated them as foreign terrorist organizations, blaming them for the flood of deadly fentanyl that killed more than 265,000 Americans over just the past 4 years. William Lajeunesse live in LA with more. Hi, William.
Ignore the fact that the actual solution to solving the fentanyl crisis is a overhaul of the pharmaceuticals and medical industry and the health insurance industry in this country, and not the dismantling of the ridiculous capitalist mechanisms that protect these lines of attack and protect these sources. Instead, let's focus on the cartels, who actually, it's mostly American citizens that bring in the drugs. It's about 90% to be American citizens. Because why would you give undocumented people drugs if you're trying to make sure that they are not getting caught?
Good morning, Dana. You know, the question is, how could the U.S. military be used against the cartels? Drone strikes on labs, black ops on cartel leaders, maybe the Navy intercepting ships or planes carrying narcotics, and we may never hear about it, right? But this started, as you mentioned, when Trump designated those 8 cartels as FTOs, or foreign terrorist organizations.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign. And Mexico probably doesn't want that. But we have to do what's right. They're killing our people.
So following that, Trump reportedly set up a defense and DHS working group, not just to go after the money or sharing intel with Mexico, but direct military action, not just on the border, but inside Latin America where the cartels operate.
Their behavior is going to have to change one way or another, but it allows us to now target what they're operating and to use other elements of American power, intelligence agencies, the Department of Defense, whatever, to target these groups if we have an opportunity to do it. We have to start treating them as armed terrorist organizations, not simply drug dealing organizations.
So in the 1980s, the U.S. helped Colombia battle the Medellin and Cali cartels. President Bush in '89 sent the Marines in to arrest Panamanian strongman Manuel Noriega, who'd been indicted for trafficking in the U.S. But with fentanyl still flooding the U.S., 1,300 Americans dying of overdoses every week under President Biden, this administration wants to do more.
These are great.
Yeah. Again, the blame solely on the cartels for this problem is not unjustified, but it's simply a scapegoat. You know, it's blaming Iraq for the poppy fields while our soldiers protect them. You know, it's our systems protect the cartels because the cartels are better for business overall. And there's things that can be done about it, but I just saw a headline that I'm going to finish this with because I'm ready to stop streaming for today so I can take care of some stuff. Federal takeover of city police will go further than D.C.
A public safety emergency, saying he's activated 800 National Guard members in the nation's capital and has now placed the D.C. Police Department under federal control, saying that Attorney General Pam Bondi will, quote, take command. This takeover is happening as the president says that crime in the city is out of control, despite officials saying that certain crimes in the city have hit a 30-year low. Watch this.
The numbers are lying.
I'm announcing a historic
fake numbers.
To
the numbers are fake.
Rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
Bedlam.
If necessary, we're going to move service members directly to joining the guardsmen, and that'll take place very rapidly.
CNN's Brian Todd is closely following this story for us. So, Brian, take us through President Trump's order and what else he's threatening, because he says he might activate the military?
That's right, Boris. He says he's kind of reserving the option to activate additional military units in Washington, D.C. if need be. He then later said he didn't think he would need them, but he's going to keep that option open. He is also considering at least expanding the National Guard deployment to other cities. He named Chicago and New York City. But let's see how this plays out in Washington, D.C. first. We do have some source reporting from three sources familiar with the matter saying that both the D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Chief Pamela Smith did not know of President Trump's announcement prior to when he made the announcement. They were caught kind of unaware of this prior to when he made the announcement this morning. As you see the graphic there, the president plans to mobilize some 800 National Guard members on the city streets here in D.C.
All right, so we got a test run. We have a test run on our hands.
A president of the United States has never taken control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department before. Also, FBI agents are going to be patrolling with the police department here. That is also a very rare occurrence, according to our sources. It's very rare for FBI agents to patrol with police with local police in any given city. Already some pushback here in the district from this. But let's first hear from President Trump. I'll get to the pushback in a moment, but here's what President Trump had to say about what he hopes the police could do in the city.
See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. You can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do.
Now before they were holding back. Before we haven't even seen police brutality yet. Now they're unshackled, unchained. I took off the boxing gloves, and now they're the big boys at the little kid table. They're the big boys now, and they're coming with their gloves off.
Whatever the hell they want.
They're gonna crack skulls.
So the president promising a very.
They're gonna beat down some SJWs. This is nasty. I'm really grossed out. Yeah. I mean, like it's a practice run, right? It's not only do you have the opportunity to test to see how what happens with citizens, not in a little bit more of a controlled, localized place. You get to see the reaction from people, but you also you get to see the reaction from the cop unions, the police unions, from the police members, the members of society, and how far they're willing to go and like what orders they're willing to follow. But that's a pretty strong centralization of power. They mentioned, potentially Chicago being on the list, potentially New York being on the list. Luckily, I mean, I doubt J.D. Pritzker would be too on board with allowing that to happen in Chicago. But like, luckily, Chicago also will probably just, we plan the Dave Matthews Band return to Chicago. For anybody who doesn't know, Dave Matthews Band, their tour boat once came through Chicago and they released a septic tank right into the Chicago River. From my understanding, right as a architecture boat tour went under the bridge that they released it into. Poop all over the poop deck. We send the National Guard to Chicago and let them go on the architecture boat tour. And let's get Dave Matthews Band to play for him. We'll just see what happens, Maybe God will think something's funny that day.
Very tough crackdown on crime here in D.C. And again, we mentioned some pushback to this. The D.C. Attorney General, Brian Schwab, has issued this statement, quote, "The administration's actions are unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful. There is no crime emergency in the District of Columbia. Violent crime in D.C. reached historic 30-year lows last year and is down another 26% so far this year. We are considering all of our options and will do what's necessary to protect the rights and safety of district residents." Attorney General Schwab is correct there when he says that crime is down in D.C. According to the D.C. Metropolitan Police, violent crime is down 26%, assaults with a dangerous weapon down 20%, robberies down 29%, and crime overall is at historic lows in this city, Boris. We also got some pushback.
Yeah, that's not really too exciting. Police can do whatever the hell they want. Famously, that's always gone well. They also mentioned that you had specifically FBI agents that are now driving around with police officers and spending more and more time with police officers, which again only can be a good conversation or a good direction for things to go. What time is it? It's 4:15. And I'm ready to stop streaming. I'm going to be back on tomorrow, though. I'm going to be back on probably around 11:30, I think. And tomorrow we're probably going to mostly be talking about Palestine. But for the day, I just want to say that I'm so excited to be spending some more time talking about these things, about speaking my mind, my opinion. Hopefully anybody joining in has some fun with me along the way as we go down this wonky road together. But thank you to everybody who tuned in today. I'm going to go get some rest and go get some stuff done so I can be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow we don't have a One Piece chapter, so we're just going to swing right into things. And more importantly, it's time to say bye to Ozzy. It's time to say bye to Ozzy Bear. Ozzy, you ready to say bye? Come here. You ready to say bye? Come here. Come on. Can you come up? No, you don't want to come up? Are you too tired? Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. You look so sad. Come on. Come on. No, don't lay down. Okay. Well, Ozzy doesn't want to say goodbye, so I just will. Goodbye, world. Be safe. See you tomorrow.